in the Warrior Way podcast, where your life is your masterpiece. I'm Cindy Bayles, your Doodle Warrior Coach, here to help you turn self doubt into unshakable confidence, rediscover your purpose, and create a life you can't wait to wake up to. Grab your favorite pen and let's doodle your way to clarity, joy, and freedom, one episode at a time. Welcome to Doodle Healing, the Warrior Way. I'm Cindy, and today we're talking about something a little bit spooky. We all have ghosts that follow us, not the kind that rattle chains, but the ghosts that whisper lies in our ears. These labels sound like the truth. They sound like, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You need to try harder, do better, and be better. At least those were some of my labels. These invisible ghosts haunt our thoughts, our confidence, and our future. But today we're going to go ghost busting. We're going to do a doodle of our ghosts, name our thoughts, and replace them with the truth. Because the only thing scarier than old labels is living your life believing lies that hurt you. When I started working with women who were struggling, I began to notice something. They were haunted by what they believed about themselves. These labels came from childhood, past mistakes, a friend, a spouse, a boyfriend, a mother. They came from everywhere. These labels followed them for years. As I listened to their stories, I realized I had my own ghosts too. Labels are just like ghosts. They live in the corners of our minds, whispering to keep us small and afraid. They ask, who do you think you are? These labels sound like the truth. They sound like, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You need to try harder, do better, and be better. At least those were some of my labels. We're going to do a doodle of our ghosts, name our thoughts, replace them with the truth. Because the only thing scarier than old labels is living your life believing lies that hurt you. When I started working with women who were struggling, I began to notice something. They were haunted by what they believed about themselves. These labels came from childhood, past mistakes, a friend, a spouse, a boyfriend, a mother. These labels had followed them for years. As I listened to their stories, I realized I had my own ghosts too. Labels are just like ghosts. They live in the corners of our minds, whispering to keep us small and afraid. They ask, who do you think you are? For most of my life, I believed I was not smart or intelligent, and I had all the evidence to prove it. I never even questioned that label. I just thought it was the truth. That belief, along with so many other labels, defined who I was. I believed I was not enough. I was not pretty enough, not smart enough, not good enough, not helpful enough. Do you hear? You're not worthy enough. Do you hear all the enoughs? I carried those labels for years, and they shaped how I showed up in every part of my life. I was always collecting evidence to prove that my labels were true. Of course, I always found it. That is what old labels do. They feed on what we focus on. But everything began to change when I realized I did not have to believe the labels I had for myself. Things didn't change overnight, but slowly over time, as I started changing what I thought about myself, my life started changing. I started creating labels on purpose. Labels such as, I am brave, I am kind, I am resilient, I am worthy, I am a warrior. Each time I said those words, I began to see myself differently. I began to look for evidence that those labels were true. It was not magic. It was awareness. It was intentional, and it was healing. 1968, two researchers went to a school in California called the Oak School and gave every child in the school an IQ test. After the testing was over, they met with the teachers and handed them a list of students. On the list were expected to make great academic progress in the coming year. And as the months went by, the teachers changed how they interacted with the students. They gave them more time to answer questions instead of jumping in with the answers. They smiled at them more often. They called on them more frequently and gave them more challenging material to work on. Why did they do this? Because they believed the children were capable of it. By the end of the year, these students blossomed. Their curiosity sparked in new ways. Their confidence grew. The children participated more, and their test scores reformed. But when the researchers came back and retested the children on the list, their IQs had increased. But here's the twist. There was no special list of children. The children were randomly chosen to be on the list. They were not the special one. They were not different from other children. The researchers discovered something really remarkable. It wasn't the test that changed it wasn't the test that changed these students. It was the belief in them. Because the teachers believed the students had more to offer, they interacted with them differently. That change in behavior created, this is called the Pygmalion effect. Belief shapes behavior. Behavior creates evidence, and evidence creates confidence. The same is true for us. When we believe in our potential, we begin to rise to meet it. But when we believe we can't do something, then we get stuck because we find the evidence that proves we cannot do it. Now it's time to doodle. Get out your doodle supplies and let's get started. Grab your paper. This is copy paper. I just put it on top of this. We're going to start by doing your doodle U, which is just like Hangman, a circle for the head. Give her hair that represents you. Now, I'm going to do a caveat here because I do a bun because it's fast, but I've never worn a bun in my life. So do whatever works for you. And then I like to do a dress. Once again, I hardly ever wear dresses, but it's just, this is what I like. This is just a triangle. You can use a rectangle and for 2 rectangles for pants and a shirt. And then I'm going to give her a little heart and some eyes and a hint of a smile. And you can do her arms. However, I'm going to put this one with her arms on her hand on her hip. And this hand is going to be on her heart. Because we always want to remember that it's okay to feel our feelings. Okay? This is your doodle U. Now, beside the doodle U, we're going to do a doodle ghost. So the doodle ghost is going to look just a big line like that. And then, okay, there's our doodle ghost. And now we're going to give it big eyes because it's scary. All right, so there is our doodle ghost. And on that doodle ghost, we're going to write all the labels that you have for yourself that are not serving you. So not enough. You may have one that says too old. You may have one that says dumb, unlovable, helpless, unhealthy. Not an author was one of mine, and now I am. So I'm afraid might be one of yours. What else could we come up with? Unseen. No, like, I don't, if you think no one notices you, overweight. Okay. That's enough for now. But if you have more, please write them down. Grab some scissors. If you wanted, you can even rip it. You could tear it. We're not going to be picky here. I could cut it out a little better, but I wanted to show you we don't have to get all stuck in being perfectionism. So now I want you to write on your doodle U, I want you to write some labels that you want to have. Okay. Oh, I thought of another one here. Failure. How many of us think that we're failures, right? So now on your doodle U girl, and if you need more room, write around her. Write it everywhere. I want to be kind. And I can label myself as kind. And I can say loving. And I could label myself as loved and courageous and resilient and worthy and hopeful and joy. Let's see if we can write one more. All right. Now, I want you to look at these new labels. Let's compare them. How do these labels make you feel? Do they make you feel like taking on the world and enjoying life? These make me want to shrink and hide and not be seen. These labels make me want to go out and live my legacy and live this one beautiful life I have. And I want to show you. So we have this one. And when we put this on top, it covers up who we are. It covers up our true self, our warrior. You see how it covers her up and she can't shine. These just block her beautiful self. So we have to, on purpose, start taking our labels off. And so our beautiful self can shine through. When you start practicing new labels, it feels a little uncomfortable. Like your brain is going to tell you that's not true. So pick one off the list that you wrote on yourself and pick one to practice and practice it every day. Look in the mirror and say, I am kind. I am kind, and say it throughout the day. And look for evidence that you are kind, whatever it is for you. Look for little tiny things. And I can hear your brain already saying, but it's not true. Your brain has just learned to look for evidence of the other stuff. So start looking on purpose for the beautiful things and the beautiful ways you are. Start looking for evidence on purpose that the labels you want to believe about yourself are true. Because I promise you, you can find evidence that the labels you want to believe are true about you if you just start looking. Labels are powerful, but they're not the truth. They are stories we tell ourselves. And we get to choose the story. The Pygmalion effect reminds us that belief shapes reality. When we expect more for ourselves, we rise to the challenge. When we expect less, we hide and stay small. Every belief we hold looks for proof that it's right. Our brain wants to be right. If you're not enough, your brain will look for proof that you're not enough. If you believe you're capable, courageous, and brave, your brain will find evidence that it's true. Each thought is a seed that grows into a story. So today, choose a label that pulls you forward, not pushes you back. You're not trapped by your old stories or other people's opinions. You are a masterpiece in progress. You are allowed to outgrow every label you have ever worn. So who do you think you are? And who do you dare to become? The moment you choose to believe in your worth, you become unstoppable. Let's start being unstoppable today. If this message spoke to your heart, download your free Doodle Vision Board PDF. The link is in the description below. So you can start working on a vision board that you can fill with doodles and words to remind yourself of who you are becoming. We are here to cheer you on, celebrate your growth, and remind you that you were made for more. Remember, your life is your masterpiece. Keep creating it one brave mark at a time. Thanks for listening to Doodle Healing the Warrior Way podcast, where your life is your masterpiece. If today's episode inspired you, make sure to subscribe and share it with a friend who needs a little encouragement. Want more? Grab my free Doodle Your Vision Board guide. The link is in the description below. Remember, you are the warrior of your story, your life, your masterpiece.